6, therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath now shined unto us, and the Son of righteousness rose not upon us.
Yeah, the scriptures say the deceived and the deceiver are his. And so the Lord ultimately chose those who are going to be blinded versus those who he's going to awaken, man, to the truth. Those that were going to hearken versus those that were going to fan their hand and continue to walk down the street. And we know it's many more that's going to be walking down the street, not hearkening, and it's going to be punished because of it, man.
Right.
That's just the way the Lord set it up, man. The remnant is the remnant for a purpose, you know?
Verse-
Brother had another one for me right quick. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, and I'm going to start with verse 10. Verse 9 and 9, it says, then they shall be in pitiful case, but now have abused my ways, because we're talking about it's worse. Going along to get along is worse than being adverse, right? It says, and they that have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits, they heard the truth. All shall hear the truth, right?
They heard the name.
They heard the name.
They heard the prophecies. Those are the benefits that, hey, 2/3 of our people are going to receive, and they heard what this truth was. They heard that they were Israelites.
You've seen us out here.
Right.
You knew what the message was. Because then you start calling yourself Judah and Issachar and Benjamin and Levi and Simeon and so on and so forth. Yeah. A lot of Jake gonna call themselves the names, but they what did it say? They love to.
For with their lips do they honor
me, but with their mouth they.
But their hearts are far from me.
There was another one I was thinking, but it say the same thing. It says, "And have not known me, and they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty."
That grace period.
Yep, which is now. Well, it said this is when you should be rehearsing it to build your faith up.
And the grace period is basically Yahushua. It's like, Yahushua is grace, but they dismiss. They try to dismiss grace, Yahushua.
But it what did it say? Not sacrifice.
No, they want to go around Yahushua because they feel they can
crucify him afresh.
They can follow the law. These so-called law keepers, 100% law keepers out there.
Proclaim they can do that, right? It says, and as place of yet of
the tithe money.
Yeah, except that one. That law is always.
But you can keep the law though and be justified. I don't see it.
It says, and when as place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it, the same must know it after death by pain.
That shit got darker and
wicked, bro.
No, you talking about.
Go ahead.
I was saying. Yeah.
Can you read that again, Baba?
Yeah, I got you. 2 Ezra chapter 9, I'm starting with verse 11. And they that have loathed my law detested the law, right? While they had yet liberty, and when as place of repentance was opened unto them, understood not, but despised it, the same must know it after death by pain.
Yeah, because what you have to do is you have to show forth the Lord that you're trying, man. That's why we always go into the intent of the heart, right? Jake has the opportunity to repent, and which we understand all Jake won't, but nevertheless, the Most High opened it up, for Jake through Yahushua, man. And in this time period of grace, this is when you're supposed to be getting yourself right in order to build up that Isaiah 33:6, man, that wisdom and knowledge, which is going to be able to keep you stable in that day.
Right.
But Jake rather continue to be niggas, man. But the warning is going out, so regardless of what they hear or forbear, what is written and the judgments of which are going to happen, they're going to happen. That was it right there.
I was in that.
Second Thessalonians 2 and verse 11. And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to the Most High for you, but brethren beloved of the Lord, because the Most High hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth.
That's it.
Okay.
So he's basically saying that those of our people that's gonna be deceived, and they're gonna follow after this way of unrighteousness. They're gonna accept his new beast system, They're gonna, you know, see the miracles and follow after this man and wander after the beast. They're gonna be under a strong delusion. It's gonna be a mental strain, all right, where this devil, through all types of means of deceitful devices, he used to manipulate the minds of the masses of the people. Psychological operations, if you will. All right. The whole world of this whole beast system is really one big psychological operation.
Yeah.
The more he's putting fear on you, the more he's playing with your mind.
Yeah, kind.
With all these distractions, you know, you had all these string of attacks, you know, so-called mass shootings. Then you got to be worried about these pathogens being released out, these different variants. So you got to be fearful on that. Then you got to worry about, the borders was open, so many people that came through our country, and now there's an enemy from within.
Killers.
Yeah. We got sleeper cells in the country. You know, potential terrorists. We got to get rid of the illegals. You know, we got to do all this and do that. Pretty soon it's gonna be like, hey, everybody just come up under this system so that we can see who is who. We ain't gotta determine who's illegal and who isn't.
Kind. Hey, how you were speaking, it reminds me, you know how we bring up the scripture, it says, through the terror of the Lord we persuade men?
Yeah.
Hey, well, Esau is essentially trying to do that on the left-hand side. It's like, well, all these calamities are coming upon the people here. Hey,
we need a solution for it.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to persuade you, even though they're the ones causing all the BS, man. You know?
And this all part of the wiles of the devil.
Yep.
Somebody get that in Ephesians.
Kind.
That's all part of the wiles of the devil, man. These are the different ways and tricks and methods that he's going to use to deceive you. And if you don't have that covering from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you're not armed, right? Then you're going to be open. You're going to be susceptible.
It is Ephesians 6 and 12.
Start at 10.
10. Finally, brethren, be strong in the Lord Yahweh and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Yeah,
You may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Look up what is a wile? What does it mean to deal with wiles?
Trickery, arts.
Methodia.
Yeah, methodia.
16.
Wiles.
Wiles is
From the Greek.
Methodia. Cunning arts, deceit, craft, trickery.
Yep.
Now, those you reading those definitions. Now, what was we talking about not too long ago? We talking about this man's technology, because this is part of, you know, what his evolving setup to transition into what they call the fourth industrial revolution. Somebody look up in the etymology technology. Look up the word technology in the etymology. Because this is what he's using on the masses. Is AI technology. A technocracy in which he's going to rule the world through that technology.
Technology and the etymology, it says a discourse or treatise on an art or the arts, systematic treatment of an art, a craft, or technique.
A craft, a technique,
A skill,
a skill,
a crafting work,
a method, methodia. So this technology, which is evolving, is part of the wiles of the devil. Yeah.
It says to weave, also to fabricate.
It says to what?
To fabricate.
But to weave.
To weave.
Yep.
Give me Isaiah 25 real quick. 25 and 7. It said to weave.
It's Isaiah 25 and 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
Very nice.
Because that's what keeps the nations darkened. When your conscience and your mind is darkened, you're in complete oblivion. You're oblivious. You don't know what the hell is going on. You're in the dark. What's causing this darkness? This constant weaving of lies. The fabrications. These images. It's like a spider web that's constantly just weaving and weaving and weaving.
What is it meant for?
You know? Somebody look that up. Look up that word veil. Look the word veil up. It's out of order, man.
It is the word veil. You want to look for
The word for veil.
Masaka. Web, covering, veil, woven stuff.
Woven. So when you weave something together, it's like you're woven in something. And there's a saying by a Freemason by the name of Walter Scott, when he said, what web we weave
First practice to deceive.
when we practice to deceive. Look it up.
It says, oh, what a tangled web.
Tangled web.
What a tangled web we weave
When first we practice to deceive.
when we first practice to deceive. Showing you that Esau's skill, he's crafted in deceit.
Yeah.
Going back to his, when you go back to the garden, it described him as being a subtle, cunning individual. He was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Just to add to that point, when you think about a web, yeah, it catches it catches prey, but spiders also get caught up in their own web.
Exactly.
If you know, because their arms, or you know, whatever you call them, their legs, they have this silk on them to where it's slippery, so they don't get stuck. But if they get caught on it a certain way on their body, they get caught up in that same web, and that's what's gonna happen to Esau. He's gonna get caught in his own traps that he's been laying for everybody else.
Well, the scriptures say, let the wicked be taken in the devices that they have imagined. You know, so yeah, it's ultimately this is all going to backfire. You know, you read that in Job, the 5th chapter, how he disappointed the hands of the crafty that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. But Esau, he's gonna push the needle. He don't care if he has to shed blood to do it. He wants to succeed, man. Like that whole recent helicopter crash in over the Hudson in New York. That shit goes deep.
Right.
That wasn't just no random accident that just happened to happen.
Yeah, it wasn't a random family or person.
No, that man was of interest.
Just like that.
That man had ties to key industries, and they wanted him up out of there, man. To the point where when they got over that water, the fucking body of the copter started falling apart in midair.
Yeah, just like I was gonna say that helicopter plane crash in DC. Them, we don't know the particulars, but we're pretty sure somebody on one of them aircrafts had ties to something.
You have certain engineers and people that work on these vehicles that know these vehicles in and out, and they can make it to where they can take certain things apart to where after it go a certain level or after it go a certain distance, the shit can fall apart.
Like a car.
Yeah.
You know, if you put only one lug nut on a tire, it'll probably go down the street.
Yeah.
But once you get on the freeway or highway, it's gonna crack, it's gonna break, and
they
then
just point a fucking use an EMP or some shit
Yeah.
on that certain
they can put a laser on.
device. Just make it shut off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I got the shit, man.
Yeah. But you know, I brought that situation up because, you know, if you notice the pattern, Esau, he's actually taken out all these different men who actually have ownership or access to assets that he wants control of. Certain infrastructures. Like you had years ago, because he's trying to reshape the global monetary system, he was taking out these multi-millionaire crypto owners. Remember those crypto multi-millionaires?
Yeah, there was one guy in Florida.
Yeah,
I believe.
They were just mysteriously dropping, getting put to death.
Yep. And they would have a certain amount of crypto in their wallet or whatever.
Yeah.
Where did that go?
Because Esau don't want no middlemen. He wants control of all assets and all infrastructures, all resources, man.
And
You had that Cash App CEO.
Yeah.
The motherfucker got stabbed up. He's trying to go and get something to eat. You had that Nigerian banker. He was on a helicopter flight. I think it was on Super Bowl last year. It was during the day of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be on their way here, and the fucking helicopter crashed. Him and his family, just like the Siemens guy that died with his family in a helicopter crash just days ago.
The thing about Esau is they'll give you an out, like, hey, we want to buy your company. A lot of these people, they have wealth and they're proud.
Yeah.
They're like, well, nah, fuck you, we good. And of course, Esau gonna try to give them pennies on the dollars for their company. And Esau's like, okay. Let a little time pass by, act like, ain't nothing.
Yeah.
And then they send their goons in there, they send their hitman, and shit. Y'all know what it is.
That's why this week when I did a lesson on it, I pretty much named the video that the global elite they're the big use of the earth.
Shit nuts.
Because if you like I mentioned, all these different men they always sitting on something valuable to them. For them to just mysteriously just start getting whacked out one by one like
change it in about.
That's a pattern.
I'll show you how to change it.
Eventually, you better tap in. You better check in with them via BlackRock, Vanguard, WEF, any major corporation tied with them. They're gonna want to come see you.
Yeah.
If you're sitting on all these assets and resources, Siemens they pretty much had cables. They basically set up the energy infrastructure all throughout from Europe all the way through Africa.
Circuits breakers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Circuits, breakers, cables.
The elder, Wakazaki was going into how Russia was threatening to, sever some cables that America had underground. Kind of almost like a get back at when they sabotaged their pipeline. So, that's something that, and he was going into the whole blackout, blackout attack. So these are things you gotta, gotta keep in mind.
And see, and these type of things, the nations are paying attention to that. Right. This is the reason why, like it says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, they're gonna eventually rise up against it with that taunting proverb saying, "Woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his."
Right.
They're gonna start to suddenly rise up against you. They're seeing what you're doing. They saw what you did with Muammar Gaddafi.
Right.
Yeah.
They saw what you tried to do with Nicolas Maduro. They saw what you did with Saddam Hussein. Anybody that didn't want to play ball, that didn't want to conform to your monetary system, the petro. Anybody that didn't want to take on your democracy, you sent the wolves at them, man.
Yeah. Or Esau would use you for a minute and, make you an ally, and when he has no more use for you, make you an enemy. Yeah. Like, what's it? Osama bin Laden.
Well, he also gave Saddam chemical weapons to go to war with Iran.
Yeah.
And Saddam was allied to America. And then, out of nowhere, he became the boogeyman overnight.
Osama bin Laden, was he a CIA informant for Babylon?
Right, Al-Qaeda, they're called freedom fighters, fighting the Russians. America was aiding them in the 80s to fight off the Soviet Union, but then they became the boogeyman.
Yeah. Bin Laden, America contracted Bin Laden to build bases over there in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
They always keep that operative of we need a fall guy. Let's use somebody else. Let's empower them with weapons or whatever we can give them to do the job that we want to get done. And if they either way win or lose what they do, it's gonna fall back on them.
What were those rebel groups over there in the Middle East that America ISIS.
ISIS.
That they funded and supplied. It's another one.
ISIL.
ISIL. Yeah. And wasn't there one that?
What your pops used to call it? Israeli state.
Israeli.
Dang.
It was something he used to call them.
And yeah.
But he brought up a good point. He was like, why is it that?
Oh, it's the
They would-
Israeli
they was-
Secret Intelligence Agency.
Yeah. Why is it that
Service.
they're making all they're attacking and
Everybody but
everybody
Yeah.
but them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You know.
Exactly the point. Like, everybody.
They created fucking Hamas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They created Hamas.
Yeah.
Remember that rebel group that Russia shut down? I forgot. I can't think of it, but
Yeah.
they were trying to cause some ruckus, and Russia shut that shit down. I want to say it was in
Syria.
no, it was one of those countries up by their border.
Correct.
No, it was
Crimea.
no, it was
It wasn't Russian.
I don't say Kazakhstan,
Dragistan,
something like that, something up there by them. Yeah,
Which is
But-
all Russia shit.
yeah.
Right?
Uzbekistan, one of them.
Yeah.
They was like, they were setting up a rebel group, and shit, before they could even get rolling, Russia shut that shit down.
Yeah, man. Hey, you might as well get it. Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk 2.
Start at the top.
Start at
2,
4.
4. It's the book of Habakkuk.
Well,
chapter.
you know what? Yeah, you can start at the top. Might as well.
I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower.
And it's beautiful because the info we just brought out in common conversation, we just gave you like 15, 20, 30 years of info in like 4 minutes.
Yeah. History.
We've been watching. We even went back and watched, and found out some of this. So, what it's going into, the prophecies that we're giving you. Hey man, we're watching, man. We got your best interest. We're giving you all the information. You should be able to put 2 and 2 together. You got it, bro.
I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
So if you're going to stand on that watchtower, you better not fall asleep. You better not get distracted. You better be
know
watching.
Better know what to look for.
You better know exactly. Right? You got to be on your watch, man. You got some of these Israelite groups, these leaders, they chilling. They're not on their watch. They too busy partying. You know?
Verse 2. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
That the prophets may run when they read it. You know? As soon as you see it, all right, I'm out. I gotta go and warn the people. You know? You move and moving with haste. Rising up B times to get up and blow that trumpet to Israel. Wasted no time, man.
That idea was that Jeremiah said, was it Paul? But it said, I want to not speak this, but it's a fire in me that I have to.
Yeah.
I can't, it's an urge in us.
Fire is in my bones, yeah.
We have to, like, we wake up like, oh, what's going on now? What's up? Let me watch the. It's just always constantly on your mind, and then we come out and deliver the messages to the people.
Right, and back then the prophets, when they had these visions, they really didn't understand what they were seeing, but they would just write it down on paper, so that they can leave a record of
Have
it.
their scribes write it down.
Yeah, but they didn't understand it because the seals wasn't going to be open until after Yahweh Shai broke the seals.
Things weren't.
No, you about to say
Things weren't as technologically advanced, so they didn't have words back then to describe a CHIP, man.
Or a missile.
Yeah, or a missile. So they used arrows, they used mark. I mean, the words still line up, in its true, sincere form, but the words just didn't exist back then.
glittering spear.
Right.
How can you make that make sense?
Horses
They was
jumping
using-
over walls.
Yeah.
They was using what the scriptures call similitude,
Yep.
the likeness of something.
Yep.
But the description of what it does, what it's for,
Yeah.
it's pretty plain.
Plain now, because that's what I was going to say. I don't know if you were about to say,
Okay, okay.
but it was for us to, for these
To be able
times
to
to
interpret.
interpret it,
In these
because this is
times.
the very end now.
Right. Daniel said, "Shut up." What did it say? Shut up.
Daniel 12?
Shut up thy
Daniel 12
book.
before?
Yeah.
Yep.
Might be.
Until the end,
to the time of the end. Yeah.
because knowledge, would increase.
Then it's one further. it's going to say that the seals will be opened. I think in that
That's in
chapter.
Revelations.
Revelation said that
yeah.
it'll be opened.
Yeah, Revelation
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, but it said like you read it to the time of the end.
But it said who was worthy to open the book.
Yeah.
That was Yahweh Shai that opened those seals, unto us to
And
receive the
it's
prophecy.
And it's the spirit of the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, that's able to do that. And that's why we're comforted and have hope that no matter all of the things, the technological advances and the traps and the schemes and the deception and all of that, we still are optimistic and have hope that we're going to make it out
Right.
because of that Holy Spirit. You got it, bro.
Verse 3. For the vision is set for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.
Hey, like we was reading in 2 Thessalonians, the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. He was going to be revealed in his time, and now we're in that time, right? Now we all seeing who the devil is. Now we see who the mystery of iniquity is. Paul, he didn't necessarily know who, that it was going to be a whole system and not just a man.
Right.
Back then they had, the Caesar. It was one man ruling. Council, but now it's the beast is global now.
It's a web.
It's a web, man. It got the whole entire world darkened, man. They're the rulers of the darkness of this world. Go ahead.
For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith, excuse me.
Yep, go ahead.
Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
And that's how you can connect him to being the king of Babylon.
Yeah.
Because he transgressed by wine, and then he gathers all nations to himself. What is Babylon known for? Being that golden cup to pass that wine around for these nations to drink. And what's filled in that cup? We was going into it today. All these abominations, man. All his ideologies, his philosophies, his left-hand way of living. Him trying to redesign what nature is, what man is, what medicine is. All right, and he had the whole world deceived, drunken, intoxicated. Got these women that's supposed to be in an Eastern mindset, the old Eastern cultural way.
The old path.
They didn't turn Western.
Yeah.
Unveiling themselves, now wearing tight jeans, spandex. They'll wear
Yoga pants.
revealing clothes, yoga pants, but still with a head wrap
They starting
or a hijab.
They're starting to do that over in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They call that, the royal families over there in Saudi Arabia, they call them crypto small hats. Like they work for the elites. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Africa too. They got them head wraps, and then they got them tight ass dresses on, and them women be curvy as hell.
Yeah, showing it off.
Yeah.
These chicks, they'll come over here and they'll get popped with their hijab on. On camera.
No, real
It's
shit,
supposed
yeah.
to be, it's supposed to be a sacred thing, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
They'll get on OnlyFans and still be dressed like that and be getting popped.
And they'll get more views because they know that that's something that's sacred. It's supposed to be
Right.
a representation
It's
of
shameful.
modesty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yep. That's what the Catholic Church, that's the liberalism in that Catholic Church. And Islam sprung out of Catholicism.
Yep.
Yep. And it said to gather to him all people, right?
Yep. Who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
Yeah, it's to the point where he's willing for blood to spill in order to get what he wants.
Yeah.
That's how large his desire is.
But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
And now you got the whore that sits upon many waters, which the waters represent what? Different nations, peoples, tongues, nations. They all are here. This is the melting pot. This is why everybody comes here.
Gravitates to.
They gravitate over to this
to
to this
Babylon.
place because they figured, you know, we come over here, you know, we set up business and make money.
Yeah.
Do trade, do commerce, set up business, make money, take on the Western way, live comfortably,
Yeah.
live at liberty.
It's it's like people come over here to kind of be wicked because they don't know, you know, where they're from. They don't have to uphold those standards here in Babylon.
Right.
They could just, you know, women could do what they want. Men could do what the hell they want.
Yep.
You know, you can commit adultery and it's no serious consequences.
Yep.
You know, that's why the nations of the nations they just are starting to despise this place because they've drunk that wine by making deals with America, trade deals, you know, deals where you know you can't persecute more people, and we'll give you a certain amount of money. You know, so they were blinded by that Babylonian wine, but blinded by the money that America just throws out to these nations.
I got a quick preview.
You got it.
Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Hell yeah. Nations are mad that the nations are sobering up from that Babylonian wine. They're like, damn, look at our people. Look at our women. Look at our economy. Look at the food. You know, we went away from natural foods and natural ingredients to this MS, what is that shit? That MSG, all these GMO, all these preservatives, you know?
They
And
had the fucking the petrodollar.
Yeah.
They deceived us with this damn
Yeah.
monetary system.
And one example, the Chinese president was Xi Jinping.
yeah.
Yeah, he said no more American movies over here in China.
Yeah.
They make better movies anyway. That means he's sobering up.
Yeah, come on. He started the philosophy being
sorry,
pushed
sorry.
through Hollywood.
Yeah.
Then you got even certain countries that took the measure to start outlawing and criminalizing LGBT behavior in the country.
Yep.
You know,
We had some of them African countries that wasn't with that shit. They say, you know, we don't want your money, Babylon. We don't want you to come over here, Obama. You know, you do that.
We are not gay.
Yeah, you do that stuff over here, your ass still get put to death. It was a while ago, like 5 years ago, Putin had banned all GMOs.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now go back to Habakkuk.
Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his?
Yeah, that's starting to, you know, basically get back, you know, in a form of, you know, basically sticking with their own policies, still, you know, going against the grain, you know, as not to, you know, come up under this, because right now, these nations, in order to stay stable, they gotta pretty much unify with each other and come against the whore. They gotta denounce the dollar. They gotta do trade amongst each other. They gotta make their
Boost their own economy.
they gotta boost their economy by, you know, staying allied with certain other countries that have certain resources. They're trading weapons with each other. They're having to do all these different things, but they have to basically do that to combat Western domination. Man.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they're gonna use their missiles to
Yep.
bomb America. Man.
Yep.
That's where you get the lake of fire from. You know, all these missiles, all these nations, you know, that was allied with America. You know, the EU countries, you know, Russia, China,
Yep.
Iran, they all gonna bomb America, man.
This is Revelations 18 and verse 7. It says how much she had a glory, like glorified herself and lived deliciously. Much torment and sorrow give her, for she said it in her heart, her mind, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Yeah, that's that pride of this wicked place, man. You know, Babylon, you know, this place is very prideful. And like I say, like a lot of these women in Babylon, they living deliciously now. That's just the what's the word I'm looking for?
Correlation.
Yeah, they both work together.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they taking on the mind state, and particularly our women. But going into what you're saying with these other nations, let's keep reading because it's about to go into it.
Yeah, come. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judges her.
So that's the end of what's happening. But as it goes on, when this happens, it's going to tell you about how the other nations got in bed with it, right?
It says,
and they're going to be like, damn. It's almost a relief, but damn.
Yep. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication.
That's the wine of her philosophy. Going back into what the brothers were speaking on in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, man. Babylon had been a golden cup and basically passing that philosophy on to these other nations. That's what the scripture is speaking of.
Yep. It says she'll bewail her and lament for her. It says when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Yeah, because as you were saying, all these economies are tied up within the American dollar, right? Yeah. That's why when we go and continue in Revelation 18 chapter, it speaks about those rich men or those nations who stood afar off, you know, and were basically crying, hey, because of the commerce. They know that once this place is burned up, hey, they lose as well. Because America is a country that only buys. They're a consuming nation. You know, they have no exports that they're shipping out to these other countries to get benefits other than the shit weapons.
And that's what's funny, that Trump is like, that's why he's acting like, well, we can go back to doing it ourselves. They can't do it as good as they were the people did.
Exactly, and that's the thing as well. Hey, because just like how he said after that Iranian nuclear deal fell, hey, they said that he wanted to build up basically uranium processing plants here in the States. Well, that shit ain't about to work, man. You know, it takes too long, and he thinks he has that amount of time. That's why he also is saying these things as well, you know. But we know that the Lord ain't giving Esau 10, 15, 20 more years, man. That's not about to happen. So him trying to make everything basically homegrown or American made, you know, that's not about to work. You know how many just the production just to build up the factories is too much in itself. On top of that, receiving the materials to build in those factories.
Yeah, because a lot of that still come from China. Still go back to China.
That's not in Babylon spirit to me. Self-sufficient, man.
They don't make no steel. They don't make no steel in Pittsburgh and North. They ain't pushing out like they used to. Steel City. Nah, man. Go ahead, finish that. Need some more?
He's gonna go down to like 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Standing afar off for the fear of torment, saying, at last, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour, in thy judgment come.
Yeah, because that 1 hour, the instruments that was going to do that are thermonuclear missiles, man. Right. Yeah, but it says they stood afar off. Hey, can you read it again, Baba Kushal?
Yeah, come. Yep. Start from top.
Yeah.
Yep. And it says right here, it says Revelation 18 verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, at last, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
Yeah, for 1 hour is thy judgment come, man. Hey, and like we say, all the nations, as the scriptures say, all ye that bend the bow shoot at her, spare no arrows, man. So the Lord ultimately, like you said, hey, you gotta really think about all these nations, man, you know, small and great, because the Lord is making sure that everybody is essentially geared up, you know, and got a arrow for this place. And when we go into the book of Joel, and it speaks about they shall not break their rank, you know, how they're gonna come over here in a formation. Hey, every missile has its longitude and latitude set for this place, man. You know, that means complete obliteration, as you say, instant cremation. You know, keep going.
Yep, in verse 12, It says the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlets and in dyed, it's in dyed wood and all manners vessels of ivory and all manners vessels of most precious woods and of brass and iron and marble.
Right, these are all the merchandise of Babylon, man.
This is how the other countries got rich, building up their infrastructure, building up the things that they were purchasing out of America, but then they were selling things to America as well, and they were getting it over here because America was building itself up because it was a young country, so to speak. Because this land, no man had Assyria, no man had dwelt over here.
Yeah, because it was what you're going into how America was. It's built up. Trump's trying to bring it back to the point where it built America up through the factories.
Right.
Through the slave labor, they had all the factories to process all the goods, and then what do? They export it all around throughout the world. But
yeah, you're trying to pull to China. That shit is not gonna work.
Right.
Ain't nobody finna be working for pennies on the hour to manufacture these goods to be sold for an expensive price.
You can't
Ain't nobody finna do that.
You can't take field workers and then say, all right, we about to put all y'all in factories. Well, who's still gonna work the fields?
Right.
Like you didn't replace anything. They just move on. Okay, next industrial revolution, we're just gonna move to the next one.
And they had the machines.
You still got other shit to build.
And China, they got enough people over there.
Right.
Where they could just create more factories and more and manufacture more shit and sell it for cheap. That shit'll kill off your industry.
Your competitor beats you, man. You know? There's more merchandise.
It says in verse 13, it says, in cinnamon, in orders, in ointments, and frankincense, in wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and in chariots, and slaves, and souls of men.
Slaves and souls of men. Workers.
You'll come.
And they want, like the brother was talking about earlier, and they want the creativity that comes out of these people's minds as well. But we were talking about they want control of it as well too. But all this is just for whatever his use is for, whatever he can use you for. So when they were selling all of these things, because you gotta remember, you look at who built a lot of these high rises, a lot of them weren't Americans.
Right.
A lot of the architects weren't Americans. The construction it may have been American.
Right, the laborers.
The laborers maybe, but the one that designed.
Yeah, the architecture.
Yeah. The railroads
like Moabites.
Yeah.
Railroads together. Yeah.
It's more, right?
Yes, more. It says it's in fruits, and it says in that thy soul lusted after and departed from thee, and all things which were detained and goodly and departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. It says
because it's cut off. Who you gonna sell this stuff for? So why would you continue to produce this stuff if you ain't gonna sell it to America? There's no more America to sell it to.
Right.
That's it.
So it's even a bad idea for the other nations, but see, these other nations are smart enough to think, you know what? I know what Russia's gonna buy from me. I know what Taiwan is gonna buy. I know what all these other countries are gonna buy from me. So they just produce that.
Yeah, nobody's gonna buy. Where the hell they gonna sell all these? Where they gonna buy all these shoes and TVs and electronics and shit? These other countries, they don't. It's not a necessity to these other countries. Like even Central and South America, countries in Africa, They not like, oh my God, I gotta have the new iPhone or the new Samsung.
I got one, but I need another one.
Right now, they like, okay, I got a smartphone. Yeah, they got different standards. They don't gravitate to the same bullshit these people here gravitate here in America. They just, like you said, designer clothes. Like, yo, I got pants.
That becomes a ritual over here. The culture over here of needing the newest thing. Over there. They're still with the ancient. No, I need it to be top quality where I never have to buy this ever again. I'm one-time buy type things. So we're just a consumer buy, cheap Walmart ass shit that go out in 3 weeks, and now you gotta buy a new one.
Or these other nations, they'll buy the material to have their wife or somebody make them pants or the shoes that they need. It's a lot of you know, I was saying, a lot of Moabites over there. You know, you go over there, you can get Moab to make you a motherfucking linen suit with the shoes fit for you for like a little bit of nothing. High quality shit too. You can have a low quality or you can have a high quality. But over here they'll charge you an arm and a leg for the same thing. So, but you'll have that suit and you'll have it forever. But over here, you know, these niggas, I gotta get another one. I gotta get another one. You know, a nigga
I can't be seen in this twice.
Right.
But they ain't on a level like that to live like that.
Right.
Is that it?
Hey, y'all remember this joke from Dave Chappelle about bringing Chinese jobs back to America?
I was thinking of this.
Remember this,
Think
man.
these things through before he tells us. He just tells us what he's thinking as soon as it occurs to him. This shit sounds nuts.
Fair use.
I'm gonna go to China and I'm gonna get those jobs from China and bring them back here to America. For what, nigga? So iPhones can be $9,000?
Right.
Leave that job in China where it belongs. None of us want to work that hard.
Exactly.
Pause. Why would you get rid of the field workers that were over here that are that's what they came from their country and they were masters at that shit? Why would you stop them from doing that? What American you know is gonna be okay with that?
They're doing the work for the fucking price that they get.
Thank you.
They ain't getting paid shit.
And it was cool to work every day and hire their cousin and whoever else to come over and work them jobs to get you fresh fruit off the field. But what American you know that's been Americanized like that's gonna want that job? They don't want to work at McDonald's, but you want them to work out in the field somewhere. Get the fuck out of here.
Our minimum wage is like fucking double, triple what they getting paid over there. And you got Issachar over here in these orange, like specifically in the orange fields. And they get paid by the bags that they fill up. But bro, they ain't getting paid.
And the thing about it is, I believe all of us work hard. If we were working for ourselves, we were working we had our own land. But you working for somebody else and you seeing them reap all the benefits, like no, if I can get paid $1,000, $1,200 for each iPhone I produce, hell, I'll make the motherfuckers in my house
all day,
right? But what they expect us to do is come over here and make this iPhone, which probably costs $10, $5 to make for the materials, and then package it up and then give it to you for you to make all the money off. Like, nah, that's you know, that don't make no sense. But we're not working over here in Babylon. We're not working for ourselves. We don't have the land. We don't possess these things. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it to try to kill yourself here in Babylon. For what? So this motherfucking devil can get rich? Continue to get rich?
And that's what Trump is literally doing, and that's what they were so upset about. But there was no other way around it for you people that want to vote Democrat.
And China, they did like an AI piece where it was basically mocking Americans in a sweatshop.
It was marking Esau. It was mainly Edomites in it. But the imagery was
but the imagery of it was so on point because it shows all these people in there in a sweatshop on these sewing machines, and everybody is fucking fat, overweight, just sitting there struggling, out of breath and shit.
From sitting down sewing.
Sitting down sewing, bro.
And that's the thing, like even something like that, the textile industry. These people don't know how to sew. So now you gotta put them through classes to learn how to make the shit that you want them to make. But that's also why AI is coming in, man. Because he wants to set up these factories so you people don't have these jobs that they want to return to America.
And when these other nations, when they see America, they see Esau.
Yeah.
You know? So that tells you who Pharaoh is, man. You know, Pharaoh and the Egyptians, Esau. You know, they know who we are, man. You know, they know we're in captivity over here.
So going back to, that's why he's going back to Revelation. Huh?
Oh, but that's what I was going to
back to Revelation. That's what this is dealing with. The slaves, the souls of men.
Because they expect the American people to be so tied up and so desperate. That's the word I want. So desperate that they'll do them jobs.
Remember how they used us when we first got over here?
Yeah, exactly. Now they have no problem. It was cool when it was just us. Now they're gonna make their own people do it. That's the problem. That's the major problem.
Yeah.
So this man don't care. He just wants the money.
Yeah, he's. I'll finish it real quick. Yeah, a little more.
I want to wear Nikes. I don't want to make them shits. What the fuck
Right.
Stop trying to give us Chinese jobs.
Yeah. Stop it.
Well, you know how much, like, specifically, like Jordan, this Nike's period, how much they cost to make that shit? They got the material there.
Yeah.
It's easy. They making it for dollars. And
Pennies.
they come over here and they sell that shit for hundreds, like even thousands. Like some pairs of shoes, they selling for thousands.
What's fucked up is it's lower quality.
Yeah. It ain't the 80s.
It ain't the
Jordans.
80s or the 90s.
Yeah.
That shit is like, especially when they found out niggas like Air Force Ones. Oh, give me cheap leather. It looks the
Hey,
same.
they said them Hermes Birkins. They said they just slapped the fucking made in Italy tag on there, but they make it in China, man.
Yeah.
They probably ain't even Italian leather.
Right.
You know?
The way Esau think, he want to cut corners, so yeah, he gonna make the fucking Birkins in China, man. He ain't gonna make that shit.
You know how you work at like a fast food restaurant and they give you food for free because you work there? That's like them. They can have that shit just, for free or for really cheap. But, they sell it to the people, man, for crazy amounts of money. Them Birkin bags is crazy expensive, bro.
Even if you had the money to buy one, you gotta wait 5 years.
Wait.
Yeah, they got a wait list for that shit.
Man, you can go over there. Real talk. If you got enough game, you can go over there to China and find the factory and have them make your shit yourself.
Yeah, you gotta make it.
You can leave with it. But that's on some other shit. But back to Babylon, man.
Because the last thing to say, that the whole souls of men, even how that ties in, is they got their souls so tied into this place that people are desiring them cheap ass bags for them expensive ass prices.
Because the quality of life is completely different when you look at American society versus everywhere else, especially Eastern world. They're not worried about, the material things. They're focused far more on family-oriented processes. They're focused on land, on building, a generation of stability for, their resources that they have, man. They like cattle. They got, like I said, land. They don't even really worry about like gold and things like that because everything else is so put in order, man.
They're worried about obtaining optimal health.
Yeah, health.
They not like, oh shit. You see how them, they don't got no. They're not drinking sodas over there with a meal. Right. They're not having a Coke and a burger. They're not constantly eating carbs. Even though there's nothing wrong with them, but they're not overly indulging in. They're not being gluttonous. They're not overindulging in food. Like, I never been to the shit. I ain't never really been out of America except for a few, Canada or Mexico. But they don't got no. It's not flooded with fast food over there. Right. Fast food is not a thing that you got to get. But even though the apostle went into it, Burger King is a Chinese company now. You got a lot of companies that China owns. You would think of American companies like John Deere tractors. Right. You think that's American? They sold that shit like 10 years ago to China. Like fast food. Like I want to say KFC might be owned by China too.
America, you lost, man.
So Kentucky Fried Chicken made in China.
Yeah, even when you look at the state of the people, man, their elderly are far more happy because they have a community over there, But, the quality of life. Their elders actually talk to each other. They gather, like you were saying, as far as sodas and things like that. But they'll make sure that they have tea with every meal. Right.
Right. Bread.
Their produce, is far better because they're eating real vegetables. They're eating real fruits. Their meat isn't tainted with, mucus and glue and shit like that. So they're focused on a real life, just like how we were in the ancient days, man.
Yeah, this is a very selfish nation.
Yeah, let's get back to the precepts too.
We still go back to that.
Matter of fact, because we're talking about how this society is a consuming, materialistic, luxurious society. These other nations don't see it the same. That's why they don't value the same things that the people here value. So they'll make these things for cheap, but it'll cost an arm and a leg over here because it's so valued here. Yeah. But it doesn't mean shit anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a characteristic of Babylon. That's how you know America is Babylon. You still in Revelation 18?
Yeah.
I'm on 15, verse 15. Yeah.
Verse 15.
You need to read the top of that verse.
Read 14 again.
Yeah.
This is Revelations 18 and verse 14. It says, "In the fruit that they sow, lust after and depart from thee, and all things which were detaining and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all."
It said the things that are what?
The things that were detaining. I want to say detaining. Dainty. Yeah.
Dainty.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it mean to be dainty? What is a dainty? Something that's dainty.
Dainty. The Greek word is
Strong's G 3045. Leparas.
It says things which pertain a symptom and I want to say sumptuous
and delicate
style of living. Yeah. So,
There it is.
Luxury.
Luxury.
Yeah.
That's why people over here are so into name brand, the latest smartphone, you know,
status. That's why there's shows
sports
like
cars.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians,
Yeah.
Love and Hip Hop and shit, where they just advertise,
Yeah.
hire cars.
These things are overvalued over here, man.
Yeah.
They put diamonds on like the highest thing, but the diamond's not even
the highest
not even the
stone.
most valuable stone.
Most precious.
Yeah.
Most precious. There you go.
Precious.
I mean, diamonds represent the tribe of Israel. So,
But they're just not the most precious.
Yeah.
They're just, they put it as the highest stone on the earth, but it ain't even the most precious stone, not even the rarest stone.
It's only
Well,
used
they
for
are real,
cutting.
but the ones that's being circulated now, they're not real.
Right.
Yeah, it's
man,
man-made.
They hydraulic press.
Moissanite.
Did you want to keep reading that next verse?
He can keep reading, but I want to get that verse.
Right.
Because we talking about the manufacturing,
right,
and you know,
That's why I
setting
was
up these
reading
sweatshops and
verse.
making people go to slavery so they could be exploited. They're exploiting the nature of the people having that capitalistic and materialistic mindset,
Right.
valuing, you know, these type of things.
I gotta have the new.
Yep.
I need there's a 72-inch TV. I need the 73 for the Super Bowl.
See, and that's the thing. It's like the people here understand that even the BS that they're working so hard for is useless. Because then they'll tell you, yeah, but I never have time. I never have quality time with my kids. You know, all the things that actually matter. You know, because the quality, what's the word, daintiness. The dainty, they put you in the mindset that what doesn't matter actually does, and what does matter, it doesn't matter.
And I just thought about literally how they sell that to you. Well, if you can't be there with time because you gotta work, you might as well give them the best of the things. And that's how they sold you. No, work less hours. Don't buy them the best of the best. Buy them the middle of the road, the stuff that's enough, and then have that time, because that's invaluable.
Exactly.
Read that next verse though.
Yeah. And that's why King Solomon was so keen on breaking down why wisdom is more important than anything, man.
Yep.
Because you can have all the riches, you can have the cattle, you can have the gold, you can have all the substance. Hey, but what good is that if you don't have the wisdom to rule with that thing, to rule with those tangibles, so to speak, man. You know?
This is verse 15. It says the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off. And it says, for the fear of torment, weeping and wailing.
Yep. And that was the point. The merchants that were made rich by these things. And so that's why they're going to the point where they're starting to just skip America and just start making their own stuff in their own countries and trading around America. Yeah. America like, fuck, we'll just make our own shit. But Dave Chappelle's joke was exactly on point. Nobody in America wants, you can't kick out all the immigrants and expect who's gonna make this shit. The nigga that's wearing Jordans ain't concerned about working in no field. But Jordans on, get the fuck out of here. These niggas lick the bottom of their shoe nowadays. Yeah. They gonna really step in You seen a nigga that have a nigga will have a nigga put a napkin down every step with his Jordans. Y'all heard about that shit, haven't you? They do that shit. That's some shit that they was doing.
Camp out for the Jordan.
Yeah. And then there's other niggas that camp out that will rob them niggas that will camp out and got. This is how delusional and how crazy they got you over the dainty things of this place. Well, all that's about to get cut off. That's what the prophecy is talking about.
And that's why the Lord is telling you need to detach, man.
Yep.
You know, to depart from this the ways of this society. Because that's why the scripture says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, man.
Yep.
You know, if your mind is on the things of the world, the daintiness, hey, you're not gonna make it when Esau shuts all this shit down, man.
Right.
Something as simple as social media being cut off, niggas lose their mind. When TikTok, we know when they put the little ban, it wasn't even 24 hours. People was killing themselves, man. Because they couldn't log on.
The one nigga,
yeah, the one nigga,
bodybuilder nigga.
Yeah.
Weak ass nigga.
Bro, he literally killed himself, man. Because and it came back on in like 18 hours, man.
Blew his
You know,
out.
fucking idiot, man. You had all them muscles and was weak-minded. That's why the scriptures talk about men like that, man. Yeah. But this is what happens when Esau rules a society. You know, he blinds you and poisons your mind to think that things that are invaluable, really have no meaning.
Two things, you sparked two things. One of what I was gonna say is you ain't gonna be worried about wearing Jordans when you're running for your life, bro. They ain't gonna make you faster. The other thing was the way this man psychologically works. You ever seen a Red Lobster commercial? It make it seem like it's the greatest food on earth. It's sorcery when they do that, and it's the worst thing for you, or one of the worst things for you.
Remember them Carl's Jr. burger commercials?
Man, the dripping sauce and
shit was dripping all on the nigga shoes and stuff.
Shining and shit.
Yeah,
You know it's better. A lot of that shit they show in those commercials is foam and rubber
fake
and all
glue,
that shit.
milk is glue and shit.
Yeah.
But this is how they get you. But if you're attacked, like the brother was going into, if you're somebody get that in, we quoted a couple times, Michael 2. If we you got it already? If we keep our minds locked into this, you're gonna go down with this place. You got it, bro.
In Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction.
You'll put your elderly in an old folks home to let strangers care for them, but then you'll spend the money that you could care for them yourself and probably get them healed, and you'll buy a new car, you'll buy Jordans and dumb shit, man. Shit that don't mean nothing, but you have all the wisdom and experience in your elderly that you wouldn't put them away. Oh shit, getting on my nerves, I gotta go up there and go see grandma. But this is how our people treat our elderly here, which is a mighty resource in a community. Watch yourself out. So people are just all messed up in the head around here. And if you subscribe to that mentality, you're gonna be destroyed right along with this place. That was it on that, right?
Yeah, Micah 2:10.
Yep. I got something?
Yeah, I got a precept. This is Jeremiah 6:16.
Yep.
Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way?
The ways of life. How you gonna find the ways of life? You gonna find the Western way of life is gonna be beneficial? Nah, this is temporary. It's microwave way of life in the Western world. That long-term sustained way of life is the old path. You got it?
Yeah,
whereas a good way, the way that's founded upon experience and wisdom and experience.
Right. Hey, he has made it to where you're so dependent upon technology that when you look at these different app-based things, that you're it's a instant or a perpetual comparison to you and the next person, man. To where you feel as if you're not accomplishing what you need to do because you keep looking at the good that they're showing of their life, man, or the quote-unquote good, the material things.
Yeah, example, like, Esau prescribed you some pharmaceuticals for your ailment. What's the old path? What herbs, can cure this type of ailment I got? That's seeking the old path.
Yeah, the Eastern ways, man. And that's why when if you go from a city, like what we always say, man, we gotta get out the city and just go fish or do something like that, because it disconnects you from this bullshit, man. You know, from the
No
way
cell
of
towers
thinking.
out there.
Exactly. Where you can actually be a man, you can be like, dang, like, okay, so what's the next step of us completing this mission? Okay, we get some fish. First, we gotta catch it. You know, now we gotta scale it, do all those things, man.
Yep.
Clean it, scale it. Now we gotta make this fire. It's those old paths, man. That's why life was so much better, because you could actually reap the fruit of your labors, man. In this society, you gotta scram and scramble just to get pennies, man, that you gotta give back.
Yeah. You only give them back.
Bro.
Yeah.
So you're in this constant loop of the same fucking cycle, man.
And it's a losing trade-off too.
Yeah, we always say after camp, man, back to the bullshit. Because that's what this is. This life isn't fulfilling, man. And Esau created, it's a perfect system.
Yeah, we living in a left-hand simulation.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare, man.
Bro.
This ain't it. When we get in the kingdom, we're gonna look back like, man, what a fucking nightmare that was.
Yeah.
That was one big simulation, man.
And the richest people are gonna say that. The richest jakes are gonna be like, that shit sucked.
Yeah.
And they ain't even gonna be at the height of the kingdom as much as they were at the height of this world, and they still gonna know how bad this place sucked.
I'm gonna read this list. Apostle Torah went into this. It's a list of 10 iconic American companies owned by Chinese investors. You got Chicago Stock Exchange, AMC Theaters.
Oh, Chicago Stock Exchange. Owned by the Chinese.
Yeah.
Somebody gotta fund it.
Smithfield Foods, Legendary Entertainment Group, GE Appliances.
About to collapse.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the tourism business out here be affected by this shit.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of this is ran off of Chinese technology.
Yeah, a lot of mobiles come out here with the cameras and shit. They spend a lot of money out here.
Man, you go in the hotels, they got damn near at least 10 to 15 channels, straight Moab channels. Where they got, you know, they shows and shit and they news and so, you know,
there's casinos that were dedicated to them.
Yeah.
Y'all remember some of the older brothers, on the strip, the old MGM Grand when they first built it.
So the
they
first
had
line in the front,
Because Chinese didn't want to walk in through that mouth. It was a bad omen. They changed that shit,
Yeah, they
bro.
changed that shit.
They changed it.
I remember that. The entrance was a lion's mouth. I remember that.
I remember that.
Hey, it looked dope.
It was dope. I was mad because they changed it when I didn't know, but now you know.
Billions, bro.
They don't have obviously they don't have a 13th floor, but I want to say they don't have a 44th floor in some of these hotels because they go that high because I guess 44 is a bad luck number for Moab. But I want to say it's another number that's bad luck for them too, that they don't got that whole floor. Because in the hotel, I think I sent it to the chat a long time ago. It had went 43 and 45. The Waldorf Astoria.
That was like the height of American luxury.
Yeah.
Coming to America.
Only the place the king of Africa would live in, right?
Strategic hotels and resorts. So I want to say they may own Ritz-Carlton locations, Four Seasons, certain locations, Riot Games.
You have to play a Riot game.
Legend of Leagues is one of the biggest titles in video games.
Legend of Leagues.
World is responsible in part for the boom in esports and for the past 8 years.
The Luxor got an esports like a whole esports. I don't want to say like arena in there. Yeah. It's an arena. Yeah.
Ingram Micro name may be a bit less familiar to consumers, but the company distributes everything from Apple iPhones to Cisco network equipment.
That's your internet connections.
So you think of Cisco
routers?
Cisco in Silicon Valley is pretty much owned by Moab. Motorola Mobility. So those are the top 10, but I'm pretty sure it's way more. It's way more.
If I can get this preset, if I can get this real quick. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 46. It says, "And thou, Asia, that are partaker of the hope of Babylon, and are the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith the Most High, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So they've been partakers of the hope of Babylon.
Yeah.
You know, they contributed to a lot of the luxury and, you know, the glory that we see here in Babylon. And then you go over to China and there's like an even more advanced.
Bro,
it's even more advanced.
It's way crazy.
You know, but they got, you know, the architecture, the high-rise skyscrapers. They got influence to build all that shit up over there.
And it's better.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Way better. I got a few more on the list. I found another list.
They got a lot of, you know, Americanized, you know, they like restaurants and themes and
They
you
got
know,
Las Vegas over
tourist
there.
sites.
They got a whole like a replica of Silicon Valley over there.
Yeah, and their quality, even their air quality and water is better too, man. You know, going into those things as well.
There's a few more companies that they're not all owned by China, but some are owned by Japan. It's Tupperware, it's one. Burger King, Budweiser. I think they're owned by a Belgium company. Acquired Firestone, you know, Firestone tires. Ben and Jerry's, 7-Eleven, Japanese company, 7&I Holding Company. I'll tell you Smithfield Foods. IBM, PC's business. IBM's PC businesses. Trader Joe's, Holiday Inn.
Who owns Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's. The quirky American grocery store is owned by a German family trust, Marcus and Stufang.
So everything.
Also known, though, owns the Aldi Nord chain. So you know Aldi's is coming out.
This one has been built over here.
They got Aldi's out here?
Holiday Inn, Hoover vacuums, and Sunglass Hut.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
So it show you what, because all this ties back into what is America going to do to reproduce these things?
Right.
Or are you Americans going to pay for all this shit?
Yeah. But you think about it, with China and these other abroad countries owning these American businesses, it's nothing for them to shut down.
Yep.
It's like they don't care about, because they're not supplying. They don't care about it's my business. I can shut it down. Like China owns all these businesses. What if China just shut all these businesses down? Where does that leave you, American people?
Yep.
You out there, you stuck.
Because what Trump is trying to elicit to happen, he's like, well, if you want to keep these things and you don't want it to be so high, bring them jobs here to America. Have those, build factories here. Look, you pay to build factories here and then employ our citizens to work in them.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to get them to do. And then we'll keep the tariff and stay off of you.
It makes sense, but it ain't gonna happen.
That is the whole point.
It's not gonna happen.
It's gonna inflate.
You gotta have the money to build these factories, contractors. There's a lot of shit that go in. You just can't throw up a factory.
You gotta have, bro. First off, the land has to be good enough first. You know that's number one, and then you have to go through surveying. You gotta go through engineering for a plan. It's too much shit, man.
We know that.
Nobody qualified nowadays.
But not only that, if you're gonna build a factory, you're gonna build a factory up not to the standards of 1920s and 30s. You're gonna build a factory up to the standards of today. And what is today? All AI based. So you're gonna build a factory, but ain't gonna be for no workers to work in it. It's gonna be for fucking robots and computers. The same factories they got in China where you have a big warehouse and someone orders something, what goes and gets it off the shelf? A fucking robot goes and gets it off the shelf, brings it over there, and they have a person that may package it, or not package it, or put it in a crate, and the crate goes. So it's all automated. Just like they were saying about the docks. Remember that was a big deal last year about the dock workers and how they showed how the longshoremen or the docks are going automated now.
Los Angeles had it
so
all.
How much more? China said we'll build the factories. Let us build them our way. and then you still ain't getting no fucking jobs.
And there shall be no work for Egypt. That's where it's going. Shall be no work for Egypt, that the head nor the tail may do. You know? Yeah, man. Hey, shit is like we was going into last night. It's finna get spooky. Babylon's finna get spooky, man.
Be a ghost town.
Straight up, it's finna be a very drastic paradigm shift, and it's gonna come with a lot of travail, a lot of pressure. All right, a lot of people finna lose out. A lot of people finna be hurting. Okay, they making all these cuts. They laying people off left and right. They taking away these benefits, these subsidies. You know, this shit is finna hurt. For what they trying to do, this shit is finna hurt, man.
And you gonna feel it.
And you people gonna feel it.
Blue collar, gonna feel it.
Middle, yeah, you working class, you poor. Even those of you that call yourself an entrepreneur, you got a small business, you gonna be hurt, man. Because at the end of the day, these devils, they want nobody to be self-sufficient. What did they say? You're gonna own nothing and you will be happy. That's where it's headed.
Go sell your company, go buy a PS5.
Yeah.
Go buy a nubbin.
Yeah.
You know, remember the good old days.
Yes. Just tap out of the reality
Yeah, just go to the nubbin.
and just go nubbing. You know.
You read Jeremiah 51:7?
You read something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was read.
Did you
earlier.
read? You read 8? I'll read 8.
Since Bible read 7 again.
No, I'll read 7 again.
And that's why the scriptures preparing us for these times. The scriptures say to put off the weak nature, cast out the burdens of men, these mortal, put away the mortal thoughts, because shit is gonna get real tight, man. You know, but you gotta deny yourself. Fuck this life, fuck this world. Our life is hidden Yahweh Shai, man. He gonna give us a kingdom where we're gonna live forever. What's that in 2 Corinthians 4th chapter, the last verse? For that which is seen is temporal, but that which is not seen is eternal. All this shit that we see right now, this shit is all temporary. You know? So our hearts ain't really sewn into this. These people that they got their mind and their treasure, which is where their heart is at, in this, they're going to be the ones that's going to be losing it. They're going to lose their freaking marbles. All right? We're going to be stable because we understand, man. Knowledge and wisdom will be your stability. And the strength of your salvation and fear of the Lord is going to be your treasure. All right? Somebody was holding?
Yeah, I had Jeremiah 51:7. I'm read down to 9. Babylon have been a golden cup in the hands, golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed.
That's the answer right there to that question.
It's gonna get bad.
Forsake her.
Ain't gonna be no epidural for this labor that you finna feel.
No. The epidural is the seal.
No, ain't gonna be no epidural for that either.
Take the pain away.
Because you're gonna go through those sores, those balls.
And then there's still the missiles.
And then you gotta eat the missiles. So it ain't no relief.
Tylenol, and then you can take to get rid of it.
Nothing.
And the Most High ain't gonna let none of that work anyway.
Nope.
He wants you to feel your bad decisions.
But she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies.
Read the top of that again.
We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her.
But why are you all tied into this place? It can't be healed. It ain't bouncing back. It ain't gonna be great again. Keep going.
And let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies.
Nah, bro, you skipped the line.
I did?
Yep.
But she is not healed. Forsake her?
Forsake her. Forget about this place. Depart. Arise and depart from this is not your rest. It will pollute you even with a sword destruction. Okay, the more you gotta learn to detach from the things that this world connects you to. That you think of, that's why when you quote, matter of fact, you got it, 1414,
It's like when this dollar is no more world reserve currency, you know, when it's on par with the Chinese yuan, you know, these people, especially these other nations, they be like, man, fuck this place. It ain't no benefit for us to be here.
Hey, we're here, we're not making enough money, we're not making no money. Our people are coming over getting tainted by the ways of this place. They're coming back and sharing the fucking filth of that place over there. This ain't what we signed up for.
Might as well go to China.
Might as well keep my shit over here.
They're gonna get one-way tickets out this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Plus it's gonna be hostile because if the Chinese are gonna be seen as possible enemies to combat, man.
Yep.
They'll be thrown in camps.
Yeah, real. Hey, another something. This is talking to you, Jakes, because you don't have another land to go back to.
Yeah.
You gotta apply it in that way also. You don't have another land. You're all right, bro.
We can't flee.
Yeah.
Where
we got
we
nowhere to go.
gonna go?
That we're gonna be accepted. The world don't accept us like that. We can't go back to the land of Israel because it's occupied by the wrong people. Yeah. We can't go to South America because that's crumbling and it's being destroyed. Being dismantled as well. There's nowhere for us to go. So that's why you got to go into the spiritual strong tower. Okay? You got to go there, even though you're, what did Yahweh Shai say? They are not of the world. They're in the world, but not of, be in the world, but